AgentWire Weekly Number 1. This week, we are tracking the critical transition of AI agents from flashy, isolated demos into the actual, messy, and repeatable workflows that drive real-world operations. We are seeing a clear pattern this week. The most effective AI tools are no longer those that promise to do everything, but those that integrate directly into existing environments. Whether it is OpenAI models landing on AWS or new agent-optimized interfaces appearing in the Hugging Face CLI, the focus is shifting toward reducing context switching. If you are a builder or an operator, stop looking for the next big model and start looking for the next friction point in your current stack that can be automated away. Let's start with the specialized agent front. OpenAI's introduction of GPT-Rosalind marks a significant pivot toward domain-specific utility. By embedding biological reasoning and medicinal chemistry expertise directly into an agentic workflow, they are moving away from general-purpose chatbots toward tools that handle actual experimental research. For teams in life sciences, this is a testable hypothesis. Can you delegate a specific, repeatable part of your genomics analysis to this agent? The risk, as always, is that the demo looks far more autonomous than the reality. I would suggest testing this on one narrow, well-defined task before you trust it with your messy, high-stakes data. The goal is to see if the agent can handle the logic of the workflow without requiring constant human intervention at every step of the analysis. This is not about replacing the scientist, it is about automating the data-heavy, repetitive parts of the research cycle that currently consume hours of manual effort. This theme of integration extends to how we build software. The general availability of OpenAI frontier models and codecs on AWS is a major signal for developers. By bringing these models into the AWS ecosystem, teams can leverage existing procurement and security workflows rather than spinning up new, isolated environments. This is not about the model's raw capability, it is about the build loop. If you are a technical founder, compare this setup against your current deployment process. If it removes a layer of manual configuration, it is worth testing. If it just adds another tool to your dashboard without removing a step, skip it. The same logic applies to the broader push for codecs as a productivity tool. It is being positioned as a way to handle research, data analysis, and content creation, but the real test is whether it reduces the number of tabs you have open. If you are still context switching between your IDE, your documentation, and your AI assistant, the tool is not yet doing its job. We need to move toward tools that act as a layer of intelligence within the existing IDE, not as a separate window that requires constant copy-pasting. We are also seeing a broader push to make these tools accessible to every role. The updates around Codex as a productivity tool and the new AI creator assistant on Facebook show that platforms are trying to solve the dashboard fatigue problem. Creators are tired of parsing charts, they want answers. By providing an agent that can tell them when to post or interpret comment sentiment, Meta is attempting to turn a complex data parsing task into a simple conversational one. The practical test here is simple. Does it actually save you time twice, or does it just give you a new, shiny way to look at the same data? If it doesn't reduce your total time to insight, it is just noise. You should be measuring the time from question to actionable decision rather than just question to AI response. This is the difference between a tool that provides a summary and a tool that provides a recommendation you can actually act on. Finally, the agent ecosystem is getting more local and more accessible. Tools like Hollow 3. One for local computer use and the new agent-optimized Hugging Face CLI suggest that we are moving toward a world where agents live closer to the data. Even Apple is getting involved, approving the first AI agent for its Messages for Business platform. This indicates that the interface for interacting with agents is becoming as important as the logic behind them. Whether it is through a text message or a command line interface, the goal is to make the agent a natural extension of the work you are already doing. The IBM research on agent logic also highlights that scalable enterprise adoption depends on moving beyond simple LLM prompts toward structured agent logic that can handle complex, multi-step tasks reliably. This is the difference between a chatbot that answers questions and an agent that executes a process. If you are building, focus on the logic layer, how the agent handles errors, how it manages state, and how it interacts with your existing APIs. We are seeing a shift where the agent is no longer a standalone product, but a feature of the infrastructure itself. For your playbook this week, start by auditing your team's most repetitive, high-friction task. Do not look for a general AI solution. Instead, look for a specific, repeatable workflow like data cleaning, report generation, or basic research and test one of these new agentic tools against that single process. If the tool requires you to change your entire workflow to accommodate it, ignore it. The best tools are those that fit into your existing build loop or communication channel without requiring a total overhaul of your operations. I would prioritize testing the AWS integrated models first, as they likely have the lowest barrier to entry for teams already operating in that environment. If you are a creator, test the Meta Assistant on one specific content cycle to see if it actually provides insights you would have missed otherwise. Do not try to automate the whole process at once. Pick the one step that is the biggest bottleneck and see if the agent can handle it consistently for 3 days in a row. This is how you build trust in the tool, by proving its reliability in a controlled environment before you let it loose on your broader operations. When evaluating these tools, be ruthless about the demo gap. A polished video of an agent navigating a browser is not the same as an agent that can reliably handle your specific edge cases. Always test on a small, non-critical subset of your work first. If it fails, you lose 10 minutes. If it succeeds, you have a repeatable process you can scale. Watch the integration points closely. If a tool promises to save time but requires you to manually sync data between 3 different platforms, it is not an agent, it is just another layer of management overhead. The most successful teams right now are those that use AI to eliminate steps, not to add them. If you find yourself spending more time managing the agent than doing the work, you have added a new layer of technical debt rather than solving a problem. This is a common trap in the current market, where the allure of AI-powered features can blind us to the reality of the underlying workflow complexity. You need to be the one to define the success metrics, not the vendor. My verdict for this week is to prioritize tools that offer deep integration over those that offer broad, general capabilities. The most successful teams right now are those that use AI to eliminate steps, not to add them. Watch the space for more local agent developments next week, as the ability to run these tools closer to your own data will likely become the next major differentiator for operators who need both speed and control. Keep an eye on how these tools handle error states. If an agent fails, does it provide a clear path to recovery, or does it just stop working? The ability to debug an agent's workflow is going to be the next big hurdle for teams moving from prototype to production. If you can't see why an agent made a decision, you can't trust it with your business-critical processes. Start small, verify the output, and only then scale the automation. The goal is not to have the most agents, but to have the most reliable, automated workflows that actually move the needle on your core business metrics. Next week, I will be watching for more benchmarks on local agent reliability, as that is where the real battle for enterprise adoption will be won or lost.